Greetings and salutations. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. This is part 2 of the Hopi prophecy. I am your brother, the Rastafari, Ital Imanai. Yes, I. Return of the Blue Star People. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. I am your brother, the Rastafari, Ital Imanai, hoping message to the United Nations in the spirit of Mr. Thomas Banyacya from the Hopi Sovereign Nation, Kiltz, Movi, Arizona. Delivered the message December 10, 1992. Just June, July, August, September, October, November, December, about 6 or 7 months, 6 months after I met with him on June, the last total solar eclipse of the 20th century. He spoke to the United Nations under a total lunar eclipse 6 months later. The presentation by Mr. Thomas Banyacya, the final speaker, was preceded by 3 shouts by Orin Lyons, faith keeper of the Sixth Nations, the first speaker of the day. The shouts were a spiritual announcement to the Great Spirit of the people assembled and the intentions to give the message of spiritual importance. Thomas then sprinkled cornmeal next to the podium of the General Assembly and made a brief remark in Hopi that translates as follows. Hopi spiritual leaders had an ancient prophecy that someday world leaders would gather in a great house of mica with rules and regulations to solve the world problems without war. Said Thomas, I am amazed to see the prophecy has come true and you are here today. But only a handful of United Nations delegates are present to hear the Moti Sinam, Hopi for First People, from around the world who spoke here today. It was just a handful of those devils there. Thomas said, my name is Banyacya of the Wolf, Fox, and Coyote clan, and I am a member of the Hopi Sovereign Nation. Hopi in our language means a peaceful, kind, gentle, truthful people. The traditional Hopi follows the spiritual path that was given to us by Masau, the Great Spirit. We made a sacred covenant to follow this life plan at all times, which include the responsibility of taking care of this land and life for His divine purpose. We have never made treaties with any foreign nation, including the United States, but for many centuries we have honored this sacred agreement. Our goals are not to gain political control, monetary wealth, nor military power, but rather to pray, to promote the welfare of all living beings and to preserve the world in a natural way. We still have our ancient sacred stone tablets and spiritual religious societies, which are the foundations of the Hopi way of life. Our history says our white brother should have retained those same sacred objects and spiritual foundations. In 1948, all traditional Hopi spiritual leaders met and spoke of things I felt strongly were of great importance to all people. They selected 4 interpreters to carry their message, of which I am the only one still living today, said Thomas Banyacya. All the time, at that time, I was given a sacred prayer feather by the spiritual leaders. I made a commitment to carry the Hopi message of peace and deliver warnings from prophecies known since the time the previous world was destroyed by flood and our ancestors came to this land. These are some of the words of Thomas Banyacya as he spoke to the United Nations, and I will read a few more, and then we'll go into part 3 of this, the Hopi prophecy, and I'll ask you to research this information. My mission was to open the doors of this great house of Micah to native peoples. The elders said to Thomas to knock 4 times, and this commitment was fulfilled when I delivered a letter and the sacred prayer feather I had been given to John Washburn in the Secretary General's office in October 1991. I am bringing part of the Hopi message to you here today. You are now in tune on the One, the Force itself. At this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. I am your brother, the Rastafari, for the Underground News Network. I'm an I was blessed to be, blessed to be a part of this Hopi prophecy. You are now in tune on the One, the Force itself. Stay tuned for the rest of this discourse, the Hopi prophecy.